Once upon a time, in a quiet little town, there lived a girl named Clara. Clara was only 12 years old, but her heart was heavy. She often sat alone on her balcony, watching the world go by. Children laughed in the streets. Neighbors chatted with one another. But Clara was different. She had once dreamed of becoming a pianist. Her dream was to play music so beautiful that people would stop and listen. But after her father lost his job, Clara stopped her piano lessons. Slowly, her dream faded away. She thought to herself, "Dreams are useless. What's the point if they only break your heart?" And so, day by day, Clara became quieter, lonelier, almost invisible. One chilly evening, Clara wandered through the old part of town. The sun had set, and the streets glowed under the golden lamps. As she passed a narrow alley, she heard a whisper, "Come closer." Clara froze. The sound was soft, almost like a page turning. Curious, she stepped inside. At the end of the alley stood a wooden door, ancient and covered in dust. Above it, painted in faded gold letters, were the words, "The Library of Forgotten Dreams." Clara pushed the door open. It creaked like an old violin string. Inside, rows upon rows of books stretched into the darkness. But these books were not ordinary. Each one glowed faintly, like stars trapped inside covers. A tall, thin librarian with silver hair appeared. His eyes twinkled as if he knew Clara. "Welcome," he said softly. "This is where forgotten dreams live." Clara walked carefully between the shelves. Each book hummed with quiet energy. She opened one, and instantly her mind filled with, "I wanted to be a dancer," whispered one. "I dreamed of being a doctor," sighed another. "I once wished to paint the sky." Every book held the dream of a person who had given up. She turned to the librarian. "Why are these dreams?" The librarian replied, "When people abandon their dreams, they don't disappear. They come here, waiting, hoping that someone will remember them." She whispered, "Then my dream, my music, it must be here." The librarian nodded slowly. "Yes, but be warned. Forgotten dreams grow weak. To save one." Clara searched the shelves until she found a thin, dusty book glowing faintly in pale blue. On the cover, in delicate letters, it said, "Clara, to play the piano." Her hands shook as she opened it. A soft melody filled the air, broken and faint. She saw images of herself as a little girl, sitting at the piano, smiling as her fingers touched the keys. Tears filled her eyes. She had forgotten that feeling. The librarian placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You can still bring it back, but you must practice every day, even when it feels hard, even when no one listens. Consistency will restore your dream." Clara nodded. She understood. From that night on, Clara returned to the library often. She would sit by her glowing book and practice on the old piano in the corner of the hall. At first, her fingers were stiff. Notes stumbled. Mistakes filled the air. But every time she wanted to quit, she remembered the librarian's words. Consistency will restore your dream. One page, one note, one step at a time. After weeks, her music grew smoother. After months, it grew richer. Every time Clara practiced, the glow of her dream book became brighter. One evening, as she played a soft tune, other children passing by the library stopped to listen. Their faces lit up with wonder. For the first time in years, Clara felt alive. Months later, the town announced a music competition. Clara hesitated, her heart racing. What if I fail? What if they laugh? She thought. But then she remembered the library and her glowing book. She whispered to herself, my dream deserves a chance. The night of the concert arrived. The hall was filled with people. Clara sat at the grand piano. Her hands trembled. But as she touched the keys, she remembered all those nights of practice, all those quiet hours of consistency. And then, music filled the room. Soft at first, then powerful, flowing like a river of light. When the last note faded, the hall was silent for a moment. Then, applause. Loud, thunderous applause. Clara's heart soared. She had done it. After the concert, Clara returned to the library. She searched for her dream book. This time, it was no longer pale and weak. It glowed brilliantly, shining with colors like a sunrise. The librarian smiled. You see, a dream never dies. It only waits for you to return. Clara hugged the book close. She knew she would never abandon her dream again. And she understood the secret. Dreams are not kept alive by wishing. They are kept alive by consistency. And so, dear friends, Clara discovered the magical power of consistency. I hope you enjoyed the story and also learned some new words and phrases. Remember, every new word is like a key that opens a new door in your mind. Keep listening, keep learning, and see your English grow. See you in the next story.